Hi everybody, Andrew here from Pacific Coast Auto, running down the disappointing results of last week's auction picks. Why disappointing? You'll see. Up first, the Nissan S-Cargo, starting us off with an unsold car that was only bid up to $390. I know this isn't the best car out there, but it's probably worth more than that. Next, the Nissan Juke. This one went unsold even though it was bid up to $8,870. I'm not sure what the seller was thinking because that was probably a pretty decent offer for this one. Nevertheless, it was unsold. The Toyota MRS S Edition was also unsold. That one got bid up to $2,300, and this one I can kind of see. The seller probably wants a little bit more than that for it. Of all things, the Isuzu Vehicross did sell. Someone was willing to pay $1,330 for that. Hope they enjoy it. The Toyota Quick Delivery was also unsold. This is another one I can kind of see because it was only bid up to $1,540, and you can get more than that for one of these. And finally, the Ultra Modified Jimny. This one rounds us off with our last unsold car. 5 out of 6 unsold, not a very good week. This one got bid up to $2,690, and the seller didn't let it go. Now this one's not in great shape, but I guess he thought this was really something special, and he's holding out for just the right buyer who feels the same way he does about this car. We'll probably see it again this week, so hope he has better luck. That's going to do it for last week's picks, and now here's Derek with this week's.
Hey guys, Derek here, and we're going to run you through the week's auction picks. This is me trying to speak. Excuse me, I know it's been a week since I've done one of these videos. I promise you I'll try to speak properly in this video. Okay, so you guys have seen the prices from last week. Now we're going to run through your guys' picks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of those that are coming up this week at auction. These are live this week as we speak. If you were watching this on the day that it's uploaded. If you're watching this in the past, know that every time that we do these videos, the next week's picks get their prices shown. Unfortunately, only one of them sold from last week. That goes to show that the sellers are being a little bit bullish at the moment, but and I've kind of noticed that, but that's a winter thing. And so we'll see. Prices tend to come down in the spring, and so for the next few months is probably the best time of the year to be buying from Japanese auctions. Okay, so let's jump into this, and the first one is the thumbnail pick sent in from Michael Leroy Wright, and he says, I know Derek really likes these, and it is so true. Not only do I really like the 60 series Land Cruiser, I think everybody should adore these because they are one of the best vehicles ever made, and definitely a candidate for kind of a best car of the 80s, because even nowadays they're great cars to drive. I know a lot of sports cars are very good to drive from the 80s, but we've seen a big change in performance of sports cars between the 80s and now, but we've kind of seen a decline in off-road kind of toughness. All of the current off-road vehicles are capable. I'm thinking G-Class is kind of an 80s vehicle. Maybe Land Rover is the only company that really can hold a candle to off-road ability. Jeeps, yes, don't forget those. But the Land Cruiser, this was the pinnacle of Land Cruiserness. The new ones, they're just not the same. And so, big thumbs up for this vehicle. This one being white with the side decals. These are stock. That's not aftermarket. That's actually how they look like on this one. And this front bumper, that's also stock. This mirror here, I believe it is stock. I don't know. And then the front winch. Now this one does come with a front winch, but I think that this one has been upgraded a little bit. And then some aluminum boxes with tie-down straps and lights on it. A really good look. Also with the roof rack and some sort of a awning on the top. Lights in the back. It's everything that you want in a Land Cruiser. This is probably going to be the most expensive one that has gone through auction ever. Look at this reverse camera on it. It's like the size of an old Game Boy. Nowadays, the reverse camera is kind of like a 4 cubic centimeter tiny little lens thing, but this is, I guess, probably 15 years old already now. Really good looking. Okay, so these come in gasoline or multiple different diesel engines, turbo and non-turbo. So let's see what we have here. This is an HJ60, and so that makes this one the non-turbo diesel. 61s are the turbo. 4000 cc, still a really good combination, but this one 5-speed, so yes, the nice color with the 5-speed and the nearly perfect condition body. Look at that. That's insane. Auction grade 4, interior B, exterior C, and this is a 1985 version. So kind of an old one as far as the Land Cruiser 6D goes. I don't know which year they started. I think it was sometime around this. This might be a first year. Round headlights on it instead of the square ones that the turbos got, at least in Japan. They all have the sunroof. This one has a high roof. They come in 2 different heights of the roofs. And yeah, the 5-speed in this feels so good to shift. It's just so solid and it feels dependable. Like if you have a life that is a little bit on the edge, you're thinking about starting to smoke crack cocaine, you need to drive one of these so that when you shift it, you just feel that security in your life and you're going to throw that crack away. As far as auction sheet, we have 97,624 kilometers on here, and 5-speed, original white color, power steering, and a sunroof. What is this? Stainless steel boxes. The best kind of steel for your boxes. And what is this? Rear step bumper. I don't know what that means. I guess you can step on the rear bumper. Okay, that's probably this plate here. This looks like something for storage. That's weird. It doesn't look like an actual bumper. Very weird. Okay, and then this is the shortest report list I've ever seen, which generally means it's in better condition. When you see a full report list, then that means that car's probably in pretty rough condition. Paint marks on the back. The door cards have been modified. Typically the door cards get sun fade from the windows here and start to crack right where you rest your arm. And so the modifications may be to circumvent that. Underside surface rest exterior has glue marks on it, and interior has various modifications to it. Now the starting price of this, even being a non-turbo, is 1.444. This is literally the best condition Land Cruiser that I have seen at auction, and we've been looking for a long time. Weird to see them without the turbo seats. Wow, look at this! Switch box of randomness, and I wonder what this is. It kind of has the look of like a speaker in it or something, but I don't think that's what it is. Sort of maybe power inverter? I wonder if there's a better picture to show that. Yes. Oh, that makes the car so much better. Even if I never switch any of those switches or never even know what the switches do, that still makes me feel better. But I do wonder, though, if when you shift this, it touches the box, because the throw on this shifter is like 6 meters. You have to have really long arms to drive these cars. 12-volt charge. Look at all this fun stuff. This one's stock, and I've never seen that before. I guess that's only on the older models. 2 TVs, this old hi-fi unit. It's cool. All around, super cool. And curtains in the back. Neat. I want this truck so badly. If I had the means, I'd buy this. Absolutely. And I would drive it forever because it's never going to die. My price estimate on this, I think it's going to go for 1.85 million yen, which makes it really expensive for a non-turbo. Okay, on to the next one from Jose Oval. And Jose sent in a bunch of them. Once again, this time we're doing one pick per person, whichever one that Derek or Andrew thinks is the coolest. And so he says it's a selection of 4-door picks. As you can see here, it is an Integra Type R. A lot of people don't realize that there is a 4-door and a 2-door version of the Integra Type R because the US only got the 2-door version of it. So usually we call this the DC2, but it's actually a DB8 when it has 4 doors. I think the 4-door is a great car. It has a slightly longer wheelbase. It's a little bit heavier. Probably not as good at racing, but it has the 4 doors, and it's a little bit unique and ugly. And you guys know me. I like my ugly cars. Yeah, it's just... It looks odd, especially to people who have never seen the 4-door version of it. But yeah, if you want to be weird, you want to be quirky, get something different, I think this is a good car to get. JDM spec headlights on it. Somebody's at the door. This is an early model, so you get the four lug hubs. And people have been wondering about the Honda City and when we're going to make a video of it. This last week has been really difficult for me on various different levels, but I do want to get a video of it. Speaking of the City, though, I think these might be the wheels that I'm going to go for because they do fit on the City. They have the appropriate 4x100 bolt pattern, and there aren't very many choices for 4x100 that fit the Hondas, so a little bit weird. Titanium shift knob. Okay, so this car probably feels great to drive. If I'm looking for a 4-door Type R, I'd probably go with the Accord Euro R instead of this, but I don't know, it would be a close call. Okay, auction sheet here, 1996 Integra Type R, 1800cc hand-built engine. That's one of the specialties of the Type R. 87,279 kilometers. Auction grade R, interior and exterior B. Body's not bad except for the hood is paint peeling. And I think it's an aftermarket hood. It's probably made out of carbon, as is extremely common on these cars to have. And condition, let's see. Front cross member is dented or bent. Left front side member dented. So these are accident damage that has been repaired. And so when they say bent, it doesn't mean that it looks like somebody hit it with a pipe wrench or something. It will look mostly good. If you have a good eye for these things, you'll be able to notice it. But it shouldn't affect the structural integrity more than just a little bit, unless it's been a big accident. I would consider this a small to medium size accident. Core support dented. Hood, oh, hood doesn't open. Oh, that is a big pain. So here's something to keep in mind. If the hood doesn't open on the inspection, then they can't inspect the engine bay to see if there's oil leaks or stuff like that. And then when the car gets exported, they need to be able to open that hood, so it needs to be fixed in Japan, which is something that we could do if you wanted to buy a car like this. Front bumper underside scratched and cracked, and headlights are cloudy and seat saggy, and one part is a different color? I don't know. You can see the sagginess there. Tail light is misaligned. It doesn't look that bad, and these ones sell for less than the 2 doors because everybody wants a 2-door for their coolness. This car doesn't it doesn't have all the cools, but it has all the feels. Look. Price wise, I'm gonna estimate this one will be somewhere around 550,000 yen. Okay, Jose, on to Bill Courtney's one. Bill has a little memo here to go along with his. He says this is a limited edition EF Civic hatchback that is screaming for a transmission swap. And by that, I think he's referring to the fact that this is an automatic, and it is not the fun version. I think driving one of these might still be fun. I've never driven an automatic Civic. It doesn't have enough power, and it has more of its power in the higher RPMs for an automatic to work. I think if you want to have a good driving experience with an automatic, which is fair enough, I mean, some people don't want to be shifting a lot. It's up to them what they like. Then you probably want to go with a car with more torque low down in the RPM range than something like this, more powerful engine. Okay, it's a 1990 Civic Limited Edition. Now, Limited Edition is usually what they do at the very end of the sales cycles. Like right before they come out with the next version of the car, they'll say a Limited Edition. And you can't see it, but I'm doing air quotes. Basically, it's just tiny little changes in the car to spark a little bit of interest, because nobody buys the car when it's at the very end of its product cycle. And so you're not really getting that much limitedness in this car. 1500cc engine, auction grade R, interior B, 1 owner. Pretty weird that it's a 1 owner for that long. I couldn't imagine owning a car for that long. Excuse me. Original black, 81,048 kilometers. Body looks so-so. We got a big scratch here, a medium scratch here. Otherwise, it's not so bad. Exhaust has corrosion, door mirror and wheels scratched, body scratches and dents, end panel dented, left front inner panel and core support dented, and then accident repaired, hence the R grade. Price wise, this chassis is going up in price, whether it's automatic or manual, but still being the automatic, big price difference. And so I'd say we're probably looking at about 150,000 yen on this one. Next one is from Colin Wilmhurst, and he says, this one is for you, Andrew. And I was thinking about saying why this one is for Andrew, but I'm wondering how many people actually know why this car is for Andrew. And you have to have been a subscriber for at least a year from this point to understand what Colin is talking about. And so I'm not going to mention that, but I suggest people in the comments section let me know if you know why this car is for Andrew. And so it's a 1999 SMX from Honda. It's a 2000cc car. I think it's cool. It's like a hatchback. It has a pretty big engine for what it is, and it's made out of Honda goodness because they made the best cars in the 80s and the 90s. They were a few steps ahead of pretty much all the manufacturers, I think, at that point. Auction grade 3.5, interior grade C, 96,927 kilometers. It has really cool flip-de-doo seats in the back that go down into a flat floor that you can sleep on, and that's part of the party piece of this car, I guess. Kind of big damage over here, and some big damage over here, and some big damage over here, and then no big damage over here. And let's see, right rear tire house is dented, exterior has some paint fade and seat stained. So the body's pretty weak. These are cars that nobody wants. I can't say that. Let me just rephrase. These are cars that in Japan the market doesn't highly value, and so you can get them for ultra, ultra, ultra cheap if you want to get them. I think you can get them in four-wheel drive and front-wheel drive, but I'm not 100% on that. But you can look it up if you want. Go to the auto catalog up here, and it has all the stats on cars in case you don't know about that. I think this one's a two-wheel drive because usually what Honda will do is, if you look here, it says RH1. And so if it's a two-wheel drive, it'll say RH1, and if it's a four-wheel drive, it'll say RH2. Or, for example, a car will say 3 or 4 for the two-wheel drive or the four-wheel drive versions. Okay, so price-wise, there's nothing really special about this car. Really, there's the stock wheels, the body's all stock. I think they're cool looking. I think if you slam them and put them on 19-inch wheels, it would look really cool. Price, 68,000 yen, I will guess. No, that seems high. Sorry, Andrew, I'm saying two prices for this one. Andrew has a way of looking at the audio track and figuring out where I say the prices when he goes back and does the prices, and so that's going to mess him up. Yeah, that's too high. I'm going to go 44,000 yen on this one. On to the next one, Trey Smart. I think this is your first time sending one in, Trey, so welcome to the family. That's the first time that I've referred to people who play this game as the family. I feel like all the other YouTubers now. Hit that like button, smash the subscribe button, comment, and hit the little bell and the notify and all that. You know, this funny thing is, I do watch YouTube videos. I would go crazy if I had the notification bell on any of my likes, even the channels that I like the most, because I don't want any more notifications coming to my phone. That sounds extremely annoying, so you're not going to hear me requesting that you do that unless I'm trying to be ironic and funny. So Trey says, I've never seen one before, but I need one now. I think that that's a pretty common reaction for this car because it is so wild and crazy. It's based off a Toyota Paseo, and so it's a small Tercel-based front-wheel drive. You could call it a sports coupe, but it's not sporty really in any way whatsoever. The 1.5-liter engine is pretty thrashy. The interior got dated really quickly, and they tend to be in pretty bad condition usually. This one I haven't looked at yet, but if it is in good condition, you might want to try to get one because it's so rare to find one in good condition. But people like this car because of the full glass all the way around, including the roof being glass, big glass clamshell in the back, and then the front doors are butterfly doors, and so they're hinged here and at the top, and then they flip out. Kind of, I don't know what other car has butterfly doors. There are a bunch. I can't think of them. But it's cool, and when you open the doors, the car looks really crazy. It's the kind of car that takes you twice as long to get gas every time that you go and get gas because everybody will want to talk to you about it. I watched a video on the AZ1 from Regular Car Reviews that just went up, and it's a fun video. I love Regular Car Reviews. It was driving me crazy that he was calling it an AZ1 because I kept thinking in my mind JZ or anything, I don't know. So in Japan it's called an AZ1, and you know most countries around the world will pronounce Z as Z instead of Z, but of course in America it's pronounced Z. It might have something to do with the ABC song. A funny little story, when I sing that song to my son, it's W, X, Y, and Z, and my wife's like, no, that doesn't rhyme, you can't teach that to my son, you're making him stupid. And so, yeah, that's the end of the funny story. Anyways, back to Sera here. Looks like we got low kilometers on this. It's a 1990 model 1.5 liter engine. super slow. I've sold some that are 5-speeds. I don't know if they originally came with a 5-speed ever or if they were all automatics, but we've sold like maybe 2 or 3 that were 5-speeds. So probably you can get them in manual transmission. Auction grade R, interior grade C. Body has had some replaced panels on the front, you can see there, and then a full repaint. Aha! So I was thinking, I've never seen one of these in white. It was originally a wine color. And this car came in weird colors. They were all a little bit off. So the red is not really red, it's wine. And then the green is not really green, it's like vomit color. And then they made a blue that wasn't really blue. It was kind of like Fast and Furious blue. I don't know. And so they all came in weird colors. It's nice to see one in white. I think it looks really good in this color. And the paint fade is a big problem on these cars usually, and so hopefully this one holds together a little bit better than the average one. Accident damage looks like it's pretty severe. Front side member, front cross member, front inner panel, and core support have all been replaced. The dash panel is dented. That's weird. Weird for plastic to dent, but whatever. The door dampers don't work, and that sucks for getting in and out of, so it needs to be repaired. Seat stained. Excuse me. Exterior has some paint fade. Kind of bad that it's already been repainted and is faded again. And dashboard deformation. Okay, so mileage is low, not in the best of condition. It's automatic, but the U.S. is a strong market, and this can be imported to the U.S. right now. And still, this has been importable for over 2 years in the U.S., and there's still not a lot of them out there. And 99% of the people that you drive by will have never seen one of these before. And so that could boost up the price more than I think that the car is worth. For me, if I was going to drive this car in Japan, I would pay no more than 70,000 yen for it, just because the benefit of this comes from showing people a car that they've never seen before that's quirky and weird. But for me, it doesn't fit. It's a small car. It's only 2-seater. Well, no, it's 4-seaters, but the back seats are not real seats, sort of like RX-7 seats. And yeah, the doors are, I think the doors are cool, but I think over time you would get bored of getting in and out of your car. I know even when I shoot reports on these, I'm like, why couldn't they just make regular doors on this car so that I can do these reports easier? That being said, you know, if you think the car is cool, go ahead and bid, but I think it's going to sell for more than what I think that it's worth. And so I'm going to put a price on this one at 420,000 yen. Okay, on to the next one from Ioanni Esparza. Coming at it again with more picks. Here we have what looks like an Accord. He says 4-wheel drive Accord, question mark, question mark. I do wonder if the US ever got 4-wheel drive Accords. If you know, yes or no, put it in the comments. But yeah, in Japan it's pretty normal. You can get them in wagon or in sedan version with 4-wheel drive. A lot of cars in Japan come with optional 4-wheel drive, including the JZX 100s, Chaser, Mark II, Cresta. They all come 4-wheel drive too. And they're hard to find, but they look really funny because the suspension is like 4 centimeters taller than the stock suspension on those cars, and the stock suspension is already kind of goofy looking on the JZX series. They're called, I think, a JZX 105 for the 4-wheel drive ones. Anyways, we got just a regular Accord here. Not really much to talk about. We got low mileage. It's 4-wheel drive. Seat saggy. Underside surface rust and painted. Engine room has rust in it. Trunk has one part that's missing of the trunk liner. It's a no-claim car. Comes in from Hokkaido. And so the 4-wheel drive versions of your regular sedan cars often come from Hokkaido where it's snowy. And 37,000 kilometers to start. It's a car that doesn't have a huge market, just like so many of the cars that kind of fit into this category. Even the low mileage won't bring up the price that much. It's a 99, and so the craziness of the high prices of the U.S. market hasn't affected this one yet. And so we're probably going to see this one go for, I think, about 60,000 yen, I would say. Seems like it would be a great car to have and just to live forever and not cost you very much. You won't have to worry about depreciation at all, but it is kind of a boring car. Okay, and on to the very last one here. Raymond Yu sent in this one. Raymond says, Nissan Silvia S15 Spec R Aero, the most clean one you can get from auction so far. And so let's have a look. Raymond sent in 2, this one and a Chaser, but I specifically wanted to talk about one thing in this one is The previous owner of this car has let me down and has made me shed a tear, because take a look at this. He replaced the original seat with the bucket seat, but this is one of the ultra rare ones with the weird orange seats in it. And for this car, I think they only made like 2,000 of them or something with the orange seats, and they're official. Look, they have the Silvia logo in them. I think they did the same thing with blue and the same thing with leather. And so the leather seats are really rare too. And I think they're two-tone red and black leather. And yeah, like the L ones, the leather ones are the L package, and then they had some sort of package for this one that contained this color of seats. Sadly, the back seats aren't that color, and you don't have, I mean, it looks like a pretty cool seat. In any other car, I would be impressed by how high your side bolsters are. But what happened to that orange seat? I want an orange seat in a car. I don't even like orange seats, but I want it in this car. Anyways, let's see if this is one of the cleanest ones. I like how they changed the taillights too, because I don't like the original taillights in this car. And it has a reasonable looking body kit. It's not original red, which is weird because it does look like the exact shade of the Silvias that come in red, so maybe they did that. 1999 Silvia Spec R Aero. Oh, and when you call a car the cleanest car that's out there, it can't qualify as that with a color change, because repaint is never as good as factory paint, especially here in Japan, where oftentimes a repaint is done of poor quality. Also don't really like these wheels, but to each their own. Auction grade 3.5, interior B, exterior B. The Spec R is the turbo version. The Aero version has a rear spoiler and different bumpers and side skirts, but all of that's been taken off, so it's not really the Aero version so much anymore. 92, 171 kilometers, power steering, power windows, ABS, and airbags, purchased from user, basically dealer trade-in. Aero parts, HID headlights, 18-inch wheels, driver's bride seat. Aftermarket air filter and exhaust, adjustable suspension, front mount intercooler, aftermarket taillights. I think the group of parts that they've put onto the car is just how I would want the car, except for the seat. I think that suspension, muffler, a subtle-ish body kit, especially one that kind of dances around the 90s look of the car, with the 90s look body kit. I think it looks better than the original one. And it's a good-looking car. Front inner panel has been cut and modified. That's usually to fit a front mount intercooler because the piping can't go anywhere else. Headlights cloudy and has water in it, which is weirdly a thing for the Silvia that I've seen a lot. Underside surface rust and corrosion. Wouldn't want the corrosion on my car. And under the Aero part, scratch, wheel scratch, door mirror scratch, various scratches and dents. Body looks to be pretty clean. So, it looks like a good car. The corrosion would probably need to be fixed. It's not going to be too expensive to fix corrosion. At least I don't think it would be. Depends on how bad it is. But I don't think that it's going to be bad. Otherwise, they would say large corrosion or corrosion holes or corrosion in one of the chassis members. If it just says under car corrosion, it often means in the back pockets here, underneath, where the rear member meets the body, or around the gas tank or something. Anyways, the price for this one, color change is going to decrease the price a lot. If it wasn't a color change car, it was exactly the same, I would guess probably 1.2 million. I think that because this one has been color changed and because they ruined the seats, and everyone who drives this is going to be upset when they're driving it, I think that it'll sell for a lower price. And so I'm going to call this one at 1 million yen. And hopefully somebody doesn't overpay, but maybe they will. That is going to be it. Maybe we got this one under 30 minutes. We'll see after the front part is put back onto this. But I'm going to stop recording now. See you guys again next week, and hopefully we're going to have a Honda City update coming up pretty soon, providing I don't kill myself with overwork, as is common here in Japan. So thanks a lot for watching, everyone. See you next week.